and welcome to this special edition of Investors Hangout. This interaction to help you learn and understand investments and saving issues is brought to you by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and Value Research. Now, today the Finance Minister presented the budget, and we are here to discuss what's there in this budget for you, the investor, the taxpayer. I'm joined by our CEO, Dhirendra Kumar. Welcome, Dhirendra.
Thank you.
Dhirendra, before we get into the nitty-gritties of what really the budget has, can you please tell, what is the overall direction of this budget? What's your view on this?
No, but this budget is actually an accounting report, the numbers reporting to the country or to the citizens or to the parliament. And that's about it, because now most of the big things actually happen beyond budget. You remember the corporate tax rate came down, which is quite a dramatic thing and a very significant thing, and that happened without the budget. Now we have a GST council meeting, because I remember when I was a child, people used to go and buy vanaspati or petrol or diesel just before the budget, because price only used to go up. No longer. Now it is actually a regular thing. Every month things get revised, updated, and so in that sense, of course there is a general expectation that okay, there will be some concession after a bad, difficult year. There'll be some kind of concession or some kind of reduction in taxes for the middle class. That's a normal expectation of the people. But I think the good news is that there is no new tax, clamping on individuals. There is not much of a change. So which I think is also provide continuity and stability in terms of what to expect from this, and that's about it.
So not much has changed for the average investor.
Few of the things being anomaly being corrected, and particularly on the personal finance front, there's hardly anything.
But there's this 30% taxation on digital assets going forward. So what's your view on that?
No, just take it. Leave aside the jargon. It is cryptocurrency. And it has actually made huge inroad in the minds of the youngsters, and they have been speculating their. It's a market which is open even on the weekend. You can buy and sell, and people are quite excited simply because it's so much more volatile. It's volatile and it is easy to speculate, and people find and then people have been justifying it with some kind of theory. And we don't know whether it was illegal, illegitimate so far or not. With this, it actually gains legitimacy. But at the same time, it's a massive blow to it, because if you make some profit, 30% you have to pay to the government. And if you lose, you lose it. And if you lose once and make profit later, if you lose, you cannot really offset that gains. Your 100 rupee becomes 70 and you realize it. So you have lost 30 rupee. But if your 100 rupee becomes 130, now pay 13% of that, pay 40 rupees, 39 rupees on that, but you cannot offset the loss here. So loss is yours, profit you have to share it with the government, and there's no indexation, nothing. And there has also been a provision that if you actually buy, you invest in a cryptocurrency and it gains, say you invested 100 rupee and it became 150 rupee. Then you transferred those 150 rupee into your wallet, and then you actually spent it. That is also a situation, because it's also being used as a valid, currency for buying things. If you bought a Tesla car, so if you do that, then the government has made a provision, Section 194S, that before you do that, pay the tax. 100 becoming 150, pay 30% of the gains, and remaining money, you do whatever you want to. You pay for it.
There was something about NPS also. What is that?
Oh, NPS is, little disappointing. This is something which I was expecting that, if it was not on my radar. But the fact that they are making some changes on that, let me just explain you what it is. NPS, when you make an investment, NPS has become mandatory for state government and central government employees, except for state government of West Bengal, which has decided to keep away from NPS. But government had to go for NPS simply because governments will go bankrupt if they go about honoring all the pension commitments. And even today, the older pensions, they are a big liability for the government, and it's still going up. And it is something which it's a promise of adjusted for inflation. So the historic inflation has actually ballooned it to a level where, our government is greatly constrained. But, yes, now it has been defined. Newer employees since 1990, since 2004, government employees, they are now part of NPS. Now the rule was that 10% contribution from employee, a deduction from his income, and 10% matching from the government. And this is a tax exempt investment. This is an income for him. This is an investment being made by the government to the employee, but he's not, it is not added to his income. It is a tax exempt investment for the employee. So this was increased to 14% in case of central government employees. But the limit of exempt income for state government employees remained 10%.
So
that has now been revised to. So this is an anomaly and bringing parity for the state government. Now there is a problem. The problem is that the private sector employees, people come working in our company, even for them the same rule applies. 10% of your basic salary, if it is provided up to 10% of the basic salary, if it is provided for by the employer, by the company itself, that itself is tax exempt. Why not revise it for 15 to 14%
for them also?
For them as well. And that is the government has made it mandatory for mandatory NPS for state government and central government employees. For private employees, it is not mandatory. It is an optional thing. So to encourage that, if you do that, it will work. It will come in handy, and also it will keep our tax laws simple. 14% for this employee, 10% for this guy, nothing for some other person. Make it 14%, and that's it.
Okay. What are the other key changes that have happened? Something for post office?
Yes, that is quite interesting. In fact, I was quite surprised, and it actually came as it looks so obvious that in India, the post offices are the biggest network. It's a trusted network. It has reached in every corner, for a country of our kind, with such a length and breadth and different languages. And individuals, citizens have great conformity and confidence in the post office. And the post office has been the retail outlet for all the government savings, small savings schemes as well. The PPF, the National Savings Certificate, Post Office Monthly Income Scheme, Post Office, recurring deposit, all those things are available. So the government saying that, they are going to really bring it on the core banking platform, which means core banking is, integrating and, building a network of, so you make a deposit wherever and you can take your money anywhere else. So that is one. The other is that, these are the safest instruments, which are sold by the post offices. Then having an ATM there, and and now post office also has a license of digital, a payment bank. So people will have access to their own cash, and I'm just wondering that if this is being done now. While we have the same infrastructure of communication, the network, and the technology available for 10-15 years. So why this looks like we are it is a low-hanging fruit which we are actually catching 15 years later.
All right, then before we conclude this session, would you like to give some tips? Where should one invest basis this?
I would like to give the very serious tip, and the same tip which we keep giving all the time: do nothing, because you don't have to necessarily do anything, and do nothing because diversify, invest regularly, and don't get greedy, and don't look for an opportunity in this big news, because there's not much in this budget, and I don't think individual investors of the naive kind are geared to benefit from, they're not traders, they are not punters, they are not speculators, they are not taking a bet on something happening and they something big happens in a particular security. So do nothing and feel happy about it, that there is nothing negative.
So your thumbs up, thumbs down?
It's okay. It's a fairly, I'm very neutral about this budget. And the good thing is that, it's still, there's so much money to be invested. In fact, we are just out. I derive a lot of consolation from the economic survey that we have been through one of the worst of times. And we are almost back to the same level where we were before the pandemic, which I think is a great news, because when I look at all the economies world over, they are struggling. The government has, gone about spending money like crazy. They have been printing money, and it has caused a different problem of inflation and too much money chasing too few goods. Not so in India. We are back to same level of efficiency and productivity at the pre-pandemic level, which is a great consolation. And that is why I feel that the amount of money which is being invested in improving the investment in infrastructure allocated in this budget itself will have some kind of ripple effect.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this episode. Thank you, Dhirendra.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our viewers. Do keep watching this space for more information. Keep sending us your questions. And if you like the show, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.